Well, there's something you don't see every day.
What is it, Captain?
A cruise ship.
Cruise ship?
Yeah, a cruise ship on the Mississippi River. Go figure. I guess they're cruising to Duluth. It is 334 statute miles from Lake Michigan to the Mississippi River. Entering the Mississippi, we were literally catapulted forward by the current.
We stopped at Alton Marina just before the Mel Price Lock. Alton had a different feel than the Michigan towns we had been in previously. A little slower.
Alton had a lot of limestone walls and limestone buildings. So here we are in Alton, Illinois. And what are we doing?
We are walking to the clothes shop,
Which is
approximately, yeah, which is Schmegel's, and will take us like 26 minutes by walking.
Yep.
We didn't have to buy a lot of everything because we already bought it in previous our stop.
So where did they go?
Up.
Let's go up. After buying groceries, we stopped at this candy and ice cream shop.
It was in an old turn of the century house.
I found my favorite Halloween candy, Tootsie Caramel Apple Pops, and paid a crazy price for them.
You got me hooked on those things. They are really very tasty.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good. Beautiful day. Oh, a couple ice cream cones. You got waffle cones or just regular cones? Waffle cones, cool. So what was that?
Ice cream.
And what kind of ice cream was it?
With waffle corn.
I see. What kind of ice cream was it?
I have no idea.
It wasn't bad, but what was mixed in with the ice cream, we never quite figured out.
On the bright side, it didn't make us sick.
Alton, Illinois was the site of the last Lincoln-Douglas debate in 1858.
Just north of Alton, along the river bank, are famous limestone cliffs.
Alton is also the site of a famous Civil War prison that held up to 12,000 Confederate POWs.
Upon returning to the marina, we took advantage of our covered slip to give the boat a good bath.
We love washing things together. Our cars, the boat, the house.
Anything to do with water, outdoors, we'll love it.
With a boat or a car, it's really important to use a low pH soap.
The worst things you can do is use dishwasher soap.
The next day, we walked to a really nice bakery and bought cookies, muffins, and cinnamon rolls.
With fresh muffins for breakfast, we were ready to take on the river the following day.
Our journey started with the Mel Price Lock. This massive lock is 1,160 feet long and 110 feet wide.
On the day we went through, the auxiliary lock was down for repairs. The looper boat looked really small in the giant lock chamber.
As the gate closing siren wailed, this guy decided to find a better spot.
The bollards in the Mel Price Lock were spooky loud. Yorksey went nuts.
What is it, Yorksey? I know, we're going down, huh? And so that arrow basically says, go that way or you die. Jeremy told a story of a sailboat last year who made the mistake of going down the chain of rocks, and they got about a quarter of the way down and realized their mistake, turned the boat around, and at full throttle the boat could only go 5 or 6 knots because it was a sailboat, and so they were going upriver full throttle and going backwards in the current, and eventually the current drove the boat onto the rocks and it was broken up and they barely got out with their lives. So if you ever do this trip, follow the arrow, and you can still see there's just an immense amount of turbulence in the water here. because the Missouri is right down there at that bridge, and it's pushing water up here and then down into the canal. Our speed is now 8.5 knots, and that's at about 1650. We're getting almost a 3-knot push from the river right now.
St. Louis was a busy place with river traffic everywhere.
Here we are, passing the famous arch. The shots of the boat were taken by one of our looper friends.
St. Louis was a lot like Chicago. The beautiful parts were all away too quickly.
The barges on the Mississippi made the ones on the Illinois look like little toys.
They were everywhere, and in the middle of the river, they parked them by the hundreds.
That night, we tied to the Kakaskia Lock wall, the only possible place you can tie up on this leg. The next morning, the fog started out thin, but after a few miles became impenetrable.
At one point, Alan saw a bridge on radar less than 250 feet away. I could hear the cars passing, but couldn't see the bridge. At 25 feet, it appeared out of the fog, and I yelled, "Al, to the port! To the port!"
We missed that bridge abutment by no more than 20 feet. At the end of the second day, we anchored in Hubbell Creek, which is also known as the Little Diversion Canal. It is very tricky to get into as the river rushes by the still water in the canal. We entertained ourselves watching people trying to get in.
Al, an Orsa barge is coming.
What a show, the greatest show on earth.
When I was staying close to the
Watch the boats
on my port
try
side,
to get into Little Diversion
I think it was
Channel.
over there than it is in the center.
Does he see the barge? That's the question. I don't think he's going to have enough oomph to get in here.
No, I'm still going backwards. So the deep water moves to the south past that dead tree there. We didn't get that far up, so don't have a report.
He needs to enter it coming upriver. He's never going to get in it from the downriver side. He needs to do what we did and come up upriver, and then get right up close and then turn and punch it in.
After they got in, they had to slide by us. The lovely water in the canal smelled like poop, so we christened it the Little Poop Canal.
He's got that thing at full throttle. He's moving maybe 1 knot forward. Look at that. He's too far out.
Driving the boat on the Mississippi was a challenge. The river would push you hard to port and whip you back to starboard. Running 8-9 knots in seamoose, the boat steered differently than I'm used to.
Between the center and the outer edge of each bend in the river are angular momentum vortexes between 20 and 40 feet wide. Some of them had whirls in the center up to a foot deep.
So we are on the last 20 miles of the Mississippi River before it joins with the Ohio. And at this point, it's extremely wide, although the width gives you a sense of security that you shouldn't have, because right now with the water as low as it is, it's extremely shallow in many spots. Scraped bottom about 45 minutes ago in water that the chart indicated was 30 feet deep. And the buoys are semi-accurate, but not completely so. These are called wing dams. What they're designed to do is channel the flow of the water into the center of the river. And the theory is that by doing that, you'll have a deeper river and less opportunity for shoaling. But what happens with these wing dams is because of the direction of the current, is just off the wing dam is a spinning vortex of water that goes all the way to the bottom, because the water gets pushed out of the wing dam and then meets the current, and those spinning vortexes come out from the edges of the dam ever smaller. So there's a giant one and a medium-sized one and a medium-sized one and a smaller one. And in some cases, particularly where the river turns a corner and in the outside of the channel the water is moving faster than on the inside, you get vortexes that are so severe they look like a spinning bathtub. You can see the calm spot. And then around the calm spot is water, and that's a vortex you can feel when you're steering the boat. Here's another one we're about to go over. This is because we're on the outside of a bend. Oh, here it is. Here's another one. And another one. You see there's a whole line of them going around the outside of this bend as we go around the corner. About an hour ago, Dorina piloted us over one that showed 54 feet of depth in a river that typically runs 10 to 20 feet. So it had actually dug down through the silt that far. There's a good one right there. Look at that. Amazing.
If you like what you see, please subscribe. It really helps us out, and it doesn't cost anything.
We really appreciate your attention and subscription.
So, Dorina, how can people find out more about us online?
You can find us on our website page, here, on our Instagram page, here, and also on our Facebook page, here.
Once again, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to be reminded of new episodes when they come out, don't forget to ring that bell.
Thank you so much.